so right here I have a piece of the stock from the Adam's needle yucca, and I just want to break a piece off, and I'm going to use it as a toggle to hang my backpack. So you can hang your backpack around camp so it's not sitting on the ground, just in case it's wet or it's snowing or wherever you're at, just to not have it hanging on the ground and have it easier access for you to get things in and out of it. So you don't have to break this, you don't have to chop through this, you can just beaver chew with your knife around this. And it'll just break right off. You want to keep that because that's super useful. So we'll do another one, another beaver chew here. A couple of right around it. Breaks right off. And then with mine, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, just to make it look a little nicer, since this also helps with, you know, your knife skills. Go ahead and just chamfer the end a little bit on each side. You don't have to, but it does help with your knife skills. And then what I like to do is put just a little notch in the middle. You want to keep your thumb off to the side and just dig your knife in to it all the way around, create your cut, and then just come in on an angle right here. All the way around real quick. All right, and then we got ourselves a little area for bank line where our bank line can attach. All right, so this is another example of why I like to keep some cordage on me. This was in my back pocket. So I have this already on me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to cut any cordage. I don't have to get into my backpack. This was in my pocket. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead. You guys can see what I'm doing here. You're going to go ahead and wrap this around the tree at whatever height you want. About like that is fine. And then what I like to do is just create a loop on one side, create a loop on the other side, and there you go. Now you can hang your pack from this tog. It'll work perfectly well, right like that. Gonna hang your backpack perfectly, and now I can access my pack. And yeah, it's that simple. There's some dead pines that got knocked over during the storm, so that's why I'm using pine. Usually I would not use pine, but this is what I have. Just wanted to clear those couple of pieces off. So I'm going to make a tripod, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another toggle specifically for my bush pot, and then I'm going to hang it so I can make some lunch while I'm out here. So I'm going to show you guys how to lash one of these tripods together. It's super easy, it doesn't take very long, just need a little bit of cordage. To start out, you're going to want to make a clove hitch right here. So you're going to take your line around this pole. I'm going to do it a little higher up. I don't want to do it too high up, but I want to do it a little higher up. And then you're going to want to make like an X on it. Get a little bit more line here. You're going to want to make an X. Then you'll come underneath, back around, and underneath both of those X's, and then just pull it tight. Now you have a clove hitch. The reason why I like to use bank line for most of these is because it's tarred, and when you're making knots and lashings and things like that, it binds really well. And you're going to want to go underneath this and then over and just go back the opposite way. You're going to want to go this way through. Make sure you're going to want to pull these tight each time. Make sure you pull them tight. You're going to feed it back through this way. So it looks like this. Just go ahead and come over top. Just repeat. Just keep going around like this, through, under, and then back over. If I can get it over this knot here. Just going to want to do that a few times. Maybe make it a little bit more uniform, a little tighter. Nicer looking knot or lashing. All right, once you go through that final time, you're just going to make a couple of frapping lashings here. So you're just going to go through with these. If I can actually get it through here. You don't want these to be tight. Go through. You don't have to do it too many times, maybe twice on each one of them. Nice and tight. I'm gonna come around this one, do the same thing. I want to frap it a couple times, nice and tight. And then once you get here, you're just going to do the same thing. You're just going to do like before. Do an X. Here you're going to do a clove hitch. That X. Around one more time. Through. Keep that X. Now you're going to have a little bit extra, so it's not going to be quite as easy on this one. Because you're going to have that extra line because you want this extra cordage for when you're hanging your pot. There you go. Alright, so before we set up our pot and our fire, I want to cut a couple pieces of this saw palmetto so I can make some chopsticks for when I eat my food. Alright, so now I have my chopsticks. I'm actually a huge fan of eating with chopsticks. I do it a lot, especially when I'm out in the woods. They're just an excellent thing to make really quick. They're a lot easier to make and a lot faster to make than, let's say, a spoon or even a spatula, especially when you're talking about eating. If you don't carry, a lot of times I'll just carry a utensil like a spork in my pack, but a lot of times I'll just make a quick, some chopsticks on the fly and eat with the chop. Right here I have a tender bundle of some palm fibers and some black dead Spanish moss. Works really well. I have all my materials right here to throw on top of it once I get it lit. Part of my bushcraft video series is how to correctly light or how to correctly use a ferro rod with natural material. So you're just gonna put your hand up here, but just in case you guys haven't seen that video, you're gonna put your hand up against your boot, securing it using the 90-degree spine on your knife. You're just gonna pull away, just like that. Easy as that. Just really quick, when your preparation and your technique is correct, so you take the time to prep to get the correct materials, and then you use the correct technique, you don't need 15 or 20 or 30 strikes wearing down your ferro rod. Remember, your ferro rod is not an everlasting resource. It only has so many strikes. That could be tens of thousands, but it only has so many strikes. So it's important to preserve that resource. Alright, so since we have our fire lit, our tripod all set up, I'm going to take a piece of this Adam's needle yucca, the stalk from this. And by the way, talk a little bit about it real quick. Adam's needle yucca is really good for a lot of things, especially friction fires. You can use the stalk for a hand drill, for a bow drill, for the actual the spindle portion of that. You can also use it for the hearth board as well, especially if you have the larger portion of the stalk. They can get pretty good size. This is not a really big one, but they can get pretty good size, and they work really well for friction fire. But let's get ourselves another toggle. So we're going to make another toggle so I can hang my pot above my fire so I can go ahead and cook something for lunch. So the same type of thing. We're just going to beaver chew around, knock it off. I like to just, chamfer the end of mine. It helps with practicing your knife skills. You can get up on there and use your thumb, clean up that edge a little bit. Do the same thing to this side, just clean it up a little bit. Helps you practice your knife skills. And then the same type of thing. We'll do a cut around it. Just make sure you keep your thumb out of the way. Your hand's always out of the way. And we got our cut, and we'll come in. Same thing. We'll push cuts around it. We'll push cuts around it. This way we can create ourselves a little area for our number 36 bank lines. We have ourselves a little area around it right here. We'll let this fire die down a little bit, and then we can hang our pot. Alright, now we got our pot. I'm going to go ahead and pour some water in there because I'm going to boil some noodles. And I also have some beef jerky. Alright, so while I'm letting my pot of boiling water with my noodles, my instant noodles, and my beef jerky in there, I want to show you guys too that you can even put something like this and hang this inside of your pot as well. I'm sorry, inside of your bottle as well. You can hang this over the fire with your bottle as well. You don't have to just use it with your pot. You can use that toggle just right inside of your bottle and hang that over the fire to boil water as well if you want to. If you don't want to just put it directly over the fire, you can hang it using that exact same toggle. Now this toggle is a little bit bigger than it really should be for my bottle because I made it for my pot, but as you can see, it works just fine. This is a seriously useful item to make while you're around camp. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. It's kind of just going over the basics, some basics. Like I said, I have a series on this, Bushcraft skills for beginners. This is in that same series. So if you want to check out the other videos, you can go right ahead. They're in a playlist on my YouTube channel, on my homepage. Just remember to like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends and family. Be safe, stay dangerous, and I'll catch you in the next one.